Judge Necessary podcast, where we got the opinions like DC, we're crazy like Gaethje, and we're as high as O'Malley. We're the podcast for fight fans that want to see fists fly and don't want to wait on the judges. I'm your host, Brick, and as always, my cornerman, Nil and Matty P. How we doing, boys?
Good. I want to start us off with a little theme song. We're getting this British fucking UFC card finally.
Yeah, we have been waiting for UFC
in my
London.
travels.
3 years and since they've been there. Or maybe 2.
3 years. Last time was March 16th, 2019. Your boy was in the building. Found the ticket today. That shit was lit.
That's great.
O2 is a great fucking arena. All-time arena. The way it's built, the way it's shaped, it's almost like a teepee, but the audio in there just echoes, and the walkouts are going to be insane, and that's what I'm really looking forward to with this card. It's a great place to host fights, even just how it's laid out. The floor seats are nice, and the bathrooms is going to be a degenerate hour. People are going to be doing blow and smoking cigs up in there. It's going to be chaos, but that's what the O2 is about.
Love it. Definitely something we've been missing for a couple years. We've needed to get back to London. We've needed to get a few fighters to be fighting back in Europe. You know, fighters have been calling for it. A couple guys that we're going to talk about later. But anything else before we hop into last week's card?
Nah, no, I don't think so, right?
All right, let's do it here. Bang. Where do we want to start on?
I mean,
I didn't even watch last week's card, but the one fight I did watch, Chris Moutinho got fucking run up and done up and pieced and won. How are we feeling about that?
yeah, I mean, not much to say.
People were saying it's a bad stoppage. I don't think so. I think he was getting fucking chewed
Dude
apart.
was sleepwalking. Yeah, that was a good stoppage for sure.
Yeah, I think the kind of the stoppage thing was that, like, our first introduction to Chris Moutinho was him being the zombie man that couldn't get knocked out by O'Malley. So I feel like there was some sense of that when, like, he was wobbled and he was clearly, like, out. But people are just like, no, that's the guy who doesn't get knocked out. So you should let him keep fighting and get his fucking brain just put into mush, you know? And I think that's where, like, some of those fighters have to be saved from themselves.
It just pissed me off that they'll stop. I mean, no, that should have been stopped for sure. I'm not pissed that they stopped that, but I'm pissed off the week before that where they didn't stop the fucking RDA fight where I had money on. Of course. But yeah, off that, you know, there's some good fights, but let's skip over to Pereira getting that dub over our guy Bruno Silva. That's, I mean, we kind of, I thought it was going to be inside the distance, but it was a good ass fight. Bruno Silva, you know, he's proven he's a real guy in this middleweight division. Even with that loss, I don't think he lost stuff.
Yeah, I think by going 3 rounds, coming off 3 straight wins, and losing a decision, like, and putting on an entertaining fight against a guy like Alex Pereira that the UFC clearly is trying to build up, like they want to pump his tires. So just the fact that he had an exciting fight, was able to go 15 minutes, I think
got his shots in too.
Oh yeah, no
against
doubt.
World class.
Silva pretty much just locked up another like 3 or 5 fight contracts, like even with
well deserved. Like, I mean, I'm definitely gonna be betting him. I mean, depending on who he gets, but I'm gonna be riding with our guy, with our newfound friend.
Yeah, I'm almost kind of hoping that, like, now after coming off this loss, they like disrespect him and they give him pan again, and then he goes back and murders them, like, and we make that money.
Yeah, and then the next fight was a fucking cartoon battle almost with Dober and McKinney. It was like one of those cartoon balls where you can't see what the fuck's in there. Like, it's like a cloud.
Ball of dust, some Tasmanian devil shit.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I looked down for 2 seconds, and all of a sudden McKinney's dropped Dober, and they're just scrapping. Dober, I don't know what the hell that guy's made out of. Came back and just finished the job. I was shocked.
Damn. So it was a big comebacker, all in the first round?
Oh, huge comeback. And I for some reason, I thought McKinney was going to wrestle him, and I thought it was going to be a longer fight. I had bet like over 1.5 rounds, and like I thought McKinney was gonna win through his wrestling, and he just said, "Fuck that! I'm just gonna go in there and just scrap." Like that looked like a. It was fundamental. There were great fundamentals in there, but it literally looked like a fucking brawl of like high school kids just going ape shit on each other.
Just swinging. Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
have
where.
to go back and watch that fight because I missed
Definitely
it.
go back and watch that one. If any
Clearly,
of
it's
them.
not long, so
Yeah, it was like
I
2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah, I went back and rewatched that one, and I think it was kind of exactly what I was sort of saying from on the last pod, where it's like T-Rex was running his mouth. He finished a bunch of guys. He thought he was the hot shit, and they were like, "All right, here's fucking Drew Dober." And yeah, you can get your shots off on him, and what might have knocked out some of the unranked guys or whatnot doesn't knock out Drew Dober. And when you don't knock out Drew Dober and you give him an opening, you're going to fucking sleep. And that was the lesson that I feel like T-Rex kind of needed to learn. And not saying that it's by any means the end of it, but I think that fight might humble him a bit and make him into kind of a smarter fighter, because obviously he has some power and crazy athleticism and like some serious like skills. But if he can figure out how to put that together over a proper 15 rounds, be a little more defensive, and fight properly, like he could be a real problem.
Yeah, I mean, he was 10 seconds away from being in the top 15, in my opinion. Like, he really had him dunzoed for a second. I was like, oh, shit. But I don't think he lost any stock with me.
But that's exactly it, though, is if you want to be in those top 15 rankings, especially in those killer divisions, like the difference is 10 seconds. The difference is an inch, like that's the difference in these levels of fighters, and I think that's the lesson that a young T-Rex kind of needed to learn before he can jump into that next elite class.
Drew Dober got a nickname.
Should be the Crimson Chin, if anything.
Should be Drip. And you should wear fire suits.
He got no nickname. You can't have 35 pro fights and no nickname.
It should be Drippy
Drew no
Dober.
nickname Dober.
Yeah. You should just wear
Drew
suits.
no name Dober.
All right, well, on to the next. We got Roundtree and Roberson. We got the good Roundtree coming out of this one. He's looking sharp.
We got the angry Ultimate Fighter, like, fuck you, you stole my fucking lunch money, Roundtree. As much as he went to Thailand and was, like, nice in different areas of his game, I wonder if the whole, like, spirituality of Thailand and the calmness and the tranquilness over there actually affected his fighting. And I know it might sound like bullshit, but this came out completely differently in this fight.
He said that on the Ariel Hawani podcast. He was like, in Thailand, I was just so, like, at peace and like, yo, I could just not fight and just work at a coffee shop and just be happy with the rest of my life here, and like was just like kind of feeling like that, just super just like at peace with everything. And then getting out of that, he kind of got back to like, nah, I want more, like I need this like type of shit. And
yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying it's all about money in this situation, but like there is something different, especially in a fight sport where like when you got nothing or you got little, like you are fighting harder. And I'm not defending Dana White not paying the fighters and trying to keep, hungry dogs run faster. But there is some of that like killer instinct of like, if you're comfortable, if you're happy, if you're like cool with life, like, do you really want to bash some dude's face in? But like when shit's going wrong, shit's like, shit's tight. And the only thing between you and the next meal is that guy, I'm doing anything, So I could definitely see that like whole mental side of it.
That soccer kick to the body, bro, that was vicious. And I couldn't agree more with McGregor being like new innovation. It's so true. We see the same boring old finishes all the time. And this dude came out and was just soccer kick to the body.
Yeah, that was vicious. And there's some of those things that obviously, like, I'm not saying I'm a MMA genius by any means, but there are some like strikes, especially kicks, that I'm like, dude, that just looks like it hurts like hell. And maybe it's not the most technical or the typical, Muay Thai or kickboxing discipline or whatever. I'm just like, that looks like it hurts. So do that. Like, it seems a little more simple, especially with some of the body shots and
Can you
leg
pull up
strikes
a
that were
clip here, Brick?
Possibly. I don't know how YouTube is, but what do you want?
It's Khalil Roundtree's Ultimate Fighter knockout. He does like a very similar style, but I think this one is like more brutal.
Let me look if I can find it on Twitter. That might be okay.
All right. But yeah, someone's Khalil been doing this fucking soccer kick to the body, and they showed like his Ultimate Fighter one. Yo, back when he had a mustache, shit was a problem. But all right, let's move on in the card while Brick's looking around here.
I mean, speaking of a problem, Song Yadong, bro.
Yo, for
real problem in this bantamweight division. He finished Marlon in the first round, which has been happening kind of frequently to Marlon. I'm pretty sure he is retiring. I'm not 100%, but he was taking off his gloves. He wasn't given the mic to really talk more about it, but he damn near should call it a day, in my opinion. He's getting finished way too often.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
But what would you want next for Song?
I don't know, because this is a very narrative-driven sport, and the fans decide a lot. And I feel like they're not really going to give him his due props for this win, because it was like, oh, well, it was Morrison won, and he pretty much retired afterwards. So how much stock does he even really gain in this? It is another first-round knockout on the resume, and he's starting to add them up. But like, I don't really think he jumps that high in the rankings. I think he kind of fights a guy to live at a similar spot. Who do you have?
Disagree. I disagree. I think since we got Cheeto Vera and Rob Font fighting,
okay,
it's looking like TJ's just going to post and just not do anything.
I don't want to see
I
that
think
fight,
Aldo and Cruz are probably going to go at it.
Why not
Sandhagen?
I don't hate Corey, or I was going to say, does Merab Divaskwali have a fight?
Yeah, either one of those
That's
two.
A good one. I would much rather prefer Merab, to be honest. That's the kind of level I think he's at. He needs one more fight to get in the contenders table. Now, he's there off resume. I don't think he's there off like how the fans are, fan involvement. I don't think he's there off hype yet. I think he needs more. And even though that was impressive, I just don't know how that was a needle. That's what I expected him to do. I don't know if I heard that, but I kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think it at least, like you said, with the resume, and at least to some of the casual fans, like, he beat Marlon Moraes. Like, Marlon Moraes is a legend of the game, like, at least it's at least a new.
Don't get me wrong, I want it to move the needle. I just don't know if it does.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of hype on it, but they did move him up 5 spots to the 9 ranking. So, yeah, I think really anyone up to really 5, like, is Rob Font booked?
Yeah, against Cheeto.
Oh, yeah, against Cheeto. That makes sense. So those 2 are out. So, yeah, Merab or Dom Cruz or Corey. That really looks where he, like, I think he is looking ahead at 9. Like, he'll get someone with a lower.
Maybe they should do Aldo and Sandhagen, and then Cruz and Song Yadong. But I don't think
Strikers, wrestler, powers, fucking chain wrestling. That's like, sign me up. Main event fight night.
And I honestly don't think Cruz is gonna take a fight backwards. He's too late in his career where he's trying to do that. Unless he's off a loss, and he just came off that Pedro Munoz
Unless
fight.
it's like O'Malley or that kind of hype level. I don't see Dom Cruz looking backwards. I do see him wanting to put out the kid who's quote unquote the next big thing. I do see that possibly happening for Cruz, but not Song Yadong.
But that kid would have to have a number that would project him straight into the top 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah.
Well, and then the main event, kind of a sleeper, Santos and Ankalaev. Santos is he used to be the most like exciting guy in the whole UFC. He was like literally, oh shit, someone's getting put to fucking bed right now. And now it's like he just keeps attracting these like they're almost like
Ugly
sparring.
fights.
They're almost
Dude,
like
he's-
sparring.
Yeah,
He's
people forget he
low-key-
shattered one of his knees against John. Lost like an ACL and an MCL, and we expect at 205 just because maybe 70% of guys come back and look all right. That he's just gonna fit that, just come back and be world champ level. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it was
we could only
a
go
lot
off
to
his
ask.
word. And his word, he keeps saying his he's been back in better shape than ever, and all this motivation and shit. And they always say that, but
Right.
I don't know. I just the explosiveness and just the biting down on your mouthpiece and saying "fuck it," like I'm gonna put this dude to bed right now, isn't there as much. And maybe
It
it
kind
is
of
the
gives
knees.
me. It kind of gives me like dollar store T Wood vibes.
A little bit.
Like he never got to the peak that T Wood obviously had, but like when T Wood had that confidence on the come up and was just throwing rights and murdering people, like he put fear in people and had that, like you said, bite on the mouth guard, and I'm just gonna end this person. And then once he started losing, like and lost that confidence, lost that like fear of God, it's just been these boring, no, won't pull the trigger kind of, like you said, sparring sessions, more or
Yeah,
less.
and because of that, and Ankalaev disappointed me. I mean, disappointed me because I had money on it mainly. Because I had Ankalaev inside the distance on literally fucking everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he just played to the Santos. Yeah, he won, but I don't think this fight does much for him as far as title contention. I think he's still gonna have to have another fight or two. If he would have put into sleep and crazy
Exactly.
fashion, that would have been a statement, and I think he would be knocking on that door. But now
Right.
I think he still needs another fight or two.
You're
Yeah, I
saying
definitely don't
Ankalaev
think he
needs
did enough.
a to get to the belt.
Yeah, I think if he would have finished Santos pretty crazily or done something, spectacular, he could have maybe not even had to fight again. But that was too.
About you know
Yeah,
how
it
we
wasn't
keep
good.
saying that this 205 belt is a really lot. It just seems like after Prohaska, this is clearly way foreshadowing it. It just smells like lives next.
I don't know, man.
It seems like the guy. I don't know.
I think he'd at least have to beat
Wrestle
Jan.
fuck him, and then it's gonna be. Ooh,
I think he'd have to.
Blachowicz to get the title shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'd have to at least take on Jan. But again, like you said, if he has a convincing, like absolute dominant and gets the finish against Thiago Santos, that's where he could say, "Hey, I'm next. Like I'll wait, but I'm next."
Mm-hmm.
But now after that decision that on a, not the best card and no one was really like hype about it, because at the end of the day, it is the title shot is who is deserving, but it's also who they can sell a title fight of.
Yeah.
If you say Ankalaev right now, like I don't think most of the people. I can ask the casual sitting next to me, Tim, are you excited about Ankalaev?
Who's that?
There we go. He said, "Who's that?" So he still needs that big moment to really
Give him Anthony fucking Smith.
I wouldn't be mad at that. Anthony
Give him
Smith.
Anthony Smith.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. But anything else before we move into some MMA news?
And now we got a lot of news.
Yeah, all right.
We got a lot of news.
But before we get into the news, let's hit our first sponsor. Earth Sugar is sponsored by this podcast is sponsored by Earth Sugar, a first of its kind superfood confectionery based right out here in Phoenix, Arizona, that specializes in raw organic desserts, energetic snacks, and clean label confections. Use the promo code NOJUDGES to get 25% off all Earth Sugar products, including their limited edition family packs that includes 6 of their clean energy bars and 1 caramel micro cake. So go to loveearthsugar.com, put in that promo code, get that 25% off, get those healthy snacks. And let's hop in.
Loveearthsugar.com. Let's go.
Let's do it. Hopping into some MMA news. What do we got, boys?
Well, shit. I mean, let's
start
take
with
the cat out of the bag with Patty Pimblett and Taporia.
Yeah.
We got hand
I don't know, dust
sanitizer.
up at the hotel.
Yeah. You see that, Brick?
I barely caught it on Twitter, but give the full story to me and the fans.
So they've been going back and forth on Twitter because Patty's saying shit about Georgians getting terrorized by Russia or something. And
It's like, you
Taporia's
Georgians fucking stupid.
yeah. And so when Taporia's like, all
Taporea's
right,
like, you're an ass.
when I see you, I'm gonna fuck you up, type of shit. And then Patty's like, you didn't fucking nothing, blah blah blah. And then they saw each other, and Taporia said like Patty like gave him a head nod or nothing too crazy, and then Taporia and like 6 dudes came up and confronted him, and then threw something at him, and then Patty threw the fucking hand sanitizer off his head, went for a swing, but there was like a table in front of him, so there's no way that swing was gonna hit.
Right.
And it just kind of got broken up. It's just a little dust up, but
yeah, and I mean, Patty knows.
Twitter going crazy.
Taporia said he wants that fight next.
Fucking Patty Pimblett off of throwing a dinner plate at him. This dude threw a dinner plate at Patty Pimblett. Put it on Twitter like, yo, he's gonna chin and Patty and Taporia the man. Like, how do you take anything away from that? It was a fucking eggs and beans when the air. It was fucking breakfast buffet, and they fucking barely scrapped. How does anyone take anything away from this? I'll never know.
No, I mean, all I can take away from it is that Taporia wants that next, even though he's in like the top rankings. So
that's exactly,
yeah.
That's what I was saying. I'm taking away from this, especially as a Patty Pimblett fan, is this is a awesome move. Fucking 24 hours before your biggest fight in your home country, that all the eyes are on you. Now you're gonna basically, hopefully, knock out this can that we're gonna talk about later. And then you immediately get to fucking get a ranked fight because this asshole called you out.
Oh, I can't wait for this fight.
Beautiful marketing. This guy's a fucking genius. I'm trying to tell you. And you, in this sport, you got to play inside and outside the cage. And he's doing it right already. But,
yeah. On to some other news. Kevin Holland is a superhero, apparently.
Yeah.
He disarmed a guy who was shooting inside of a restaurant. And had him in a chokehold, and then was like, he waited till the police came and basically saved the day.
So I have a question. Has anyone seen Batman and Kevin Holland in the same room?
Nope.
All right. My working theory has some more legs.
Kevin Holland is Captain Amazing.
He's pretty much just Batman. Like, half of his like heroic things are just beating up like the mildly mentally disabled, and then every once in a while he gets like an actually real superhero villain. Like sometimes he's got to take on the Joker, and he just does it. And all the credit to Kevin Holland. You call I thought call Big Mouth meant just for fights, but it's apparently like any like issue in life. At this point, like
call Big Mouth.
Ukraine, call Big Mouth. Like,
there's a Big Mouth signal in the air that just like he just follows.
Yeah, seriously, send out the fucking Big Mouth sign, and we're in there. Anything else in MMA news? Do we want to talk about the McGregor Usman? Talk?
I mean, what the fuck? This dude came out today earlier and was like, "Yep, my next title fight back will be against Usman for the 170-pound division." He's like, what's this guy going to do to me? He's a sloppy, jab-happy wrestler, orthodox, that has no submissions. There's no threat in this fight. And, yeah, he says he's about it. So, I don't know. That's a bold statement to say to one of the best 170ers ever, that he's just a sloppy wrestler with the jab.
Now, part of me wants to give McGregor some benefit of the doubt that he has just been drinking whiskey for the last like 36 hours because it was St. Paddy's Day. And he was just like, fuck it. I ate some extra corned beef. I could get to 170. Like, let's get it. But, I mean, Usman's going to put him in a fucking body bag. Like, that's not even, like, and I like McGregor. I love McGregor. Like, I've defended him in spots I shouldn't, but I'm not going to die on this hill.
Well, I think it's I mean, obviously McGregor's going to title hop, which is it's almost expectable. But this is kind of perfect for Usman because he keeps chasing after Canelo, and nobody fucking wants that except him.
Yeah.
The fans don't want it. Dana doesn't want it. Canelo doesn't want it. And not because Canelo's scared. He just wants the big payday, and it's obvious. Here's your big payday. It's McGregor.
Yeah, exactly. Because it does make sense that, like, I do understand from Usman's standpoint where it's just like, dude, running laps on this division is just not selling. Like, the last thing they could really sell was the, Masvidal, like, at least the beef. And then he put quick work of that. And then the fans were just kind of like, okay, like, yeah, this dude's dominant. Like, this guy's sick, but he doesn't, draw those, McGregor type fucking numbers. So, yeah.
He should have had fight McGregor.
If you look at the landscape of the division, it's like, okay, Burns just lost to him too. Burns is fighting Khamzat. If Khamzat wins that fight or Burns wins that fight, I think they should have to go through Colby.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there is some time where it's like, okay, there's not a real clear number one.
Like, again, you can do the lead. Like, everyone's calling for Leon to get his shot, but like,
well, Leon, yeah, you're right. Never mind. I take that.
Leon's next. It's going to be Leon, then it's going to be Conor. Watch.
I think, yeah, and I think that's actually
McGregor's got like 2 wins at 170. People forget that. He's going to come in and be like, I've won twice at 170. I deserve this title shot because I'm me, and I'm going for the Triple Crown. First guy to hold the belt in 3 weight divisions. He's already won 55 and 45. I think to be one of the biggest fights, best 170 of all time, the Triple Crown, that would 100% sell. It gives everyone what they want.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a payday. Great fight for the fans.
And what just on the progression, I think that sells the Khamzat fight better than just giving him next after Leon. Because if Usman just dusts Leon, Khamzat's kind of on the come up, maybe beats Colby and gets a little more hype, but it's kind of just like, who cares? But if he beats Colby and then Usman comes off the, prize fight with McGregor, that's way more hype for the both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else in news?
No. I mean, Darren Till and Uriah Hall have been going back and forth, and Darren Till got the whole crowd to be chanting "fuck Uriah Hall," which is hilarious. So I want to see that fight in the future. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's one of those that, like, I kind of hope that we get more of those type of fights. That it's like, it matters in the rankings, but like, it's more of like 2, names, like putting it on the resume. You're like making sure that this fight happens, especially now.
And Uriah has been very vocal of being like, fuck there until he's running scared. And Uriah never talks shit, and he is going off on Till. So yeah. I would like to see Till with a little bit of bad blood. He's going to be, saying some funny shit. That fight sells. I think you can get it on a co-main, maybe the third fight on a pay-per-view. Would love it.
I think they sneakily would do that as like a shittier fight.
No, I don't want that.
I don't want that, but that's what they would do with that.
Throw that as the third fight on a pay-per-view, has 2 belts, then you got Uriah Hall, and you got Till. Whew, that's perfect.
They should put that on the same card as Scott Burns, so that fucking we get the Smash Bros on the same card.
Actually, I love that. That would be perfect. Because then you get that press conference going where you got the 2 of them whiling, like, you get all the content.
Dana said he's about to go out to dinner with Till and Khamzat on Sunday night, and he said that's the most excited he's been to hang out with, like, 2 guys in the UFC in a long time. And I was like, yeah, they're about to get arrested. But anyways.
No doubt. Let's move on before we get into our fights for this week. No Judging Necessary is presented by Acosta Clothing, the hottest streetwear and high fashion brand coming out of the Bay Area, California. They specialize in a range of quality backpacks and accessories. Acosta's been worn by some of the top MMA fighters such as Dom Cruz, Mean Hakeem Dawodu, and our boy Ray Waters. You can find them at AcostaClothing.com or on Instagram at Acosta Clothing. Check them out. Get those fire summer line coming soon.
Hot off the press. Carmon just responded to McGregor. You guys want to see a murder scene inside the octagon?
I mean,
All right, but yeah, we talked enough about it. Let's hop into this week. We're talking UFC London. We got the first fight. Let me pull this up. Let's go. I'm excited for this one, boys. We've got Muhammad Ankalaev 5-0 out of Great Britain, taking on Cody 12-3-1 out of the USA in the fight. Y'all got anything on this fight before I go on a little rant here?
I was going to say, which might be part of your rant. Tell me if I'm wrong, but isn't Mohamed Makachev a Nilly Newcomer of the Week?
Yes, he is. He is.
Go off,
Also,
King.
my number 2. He's also probably my number 2 ranked prospect in the world right now behind Khamzat. The kid is at 5-0 professionally, but won, 25 amateur fights. So he's on a 30-fight win streak, coming in hot out of Dagestan. And he's one of the few guys from Dagestan that likes to strike, and I think is one of the best strikers I've seen come out of Dagestan. And that's why I'm big hype on this guy. Yeah, he's just a problem. Gets a lot of finishes, very active. Now, I'm curious to see when he is in the big show in the UFC, does he get too striker happy and doesn't remember his roots, and that causes to be a problem, or becomes a problem for him. So we're about to see, but I think this is the perfect matchup in Cody Durden. He's just like average bloke of a fighter. So
yeah,
I was expect this to be a murder.
I was going to ask you, with being a Dagestani fighter, do you think? I mean, obviously he's going to be hyped for this London card, but what do you think about him training out in Manchester, England? Do you know anything about that team he's been working with?
I got his hands up.
Yeah, he's been out there for years. So the last 5 or 6 years, he's been living out of Manchester. And actually, how I found him was he was on the Tiger Muay Thai tryouts a few years back. So he's been going to Tiger in Manchester as his thing. And yeah, he's trying to get his hands. He's trying to get his hands. He says he's more of a striker now. He feels comfortable striking. So I could see him with a knockout here, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the next evolution of the Dagestani fighters, then now they got slick hands and some Muay Thai along with some Dagestani wrestling. That's a fucking problem.
You know the guy from PFL, Brandon Lonane or whatever?
Yeah.
That's Makoev's main sparring partner.
Okay. He's got some hands. So
Yeah.
yeah, I could definitely see that coming out of that Manchester gym. But let's see. I'm assuming he's got to be a massive favorite here, right?
Yeah, he's for sure.
I would think so, but
minus 435. I mean, you think
Yeah.
he's going to finish him? Because winning by finish would only be minus 106. So if you think he can get it inside the distance, I would be a little worried about him kind of just wrestling it out for 15. But if he really wants to prove that striking ability, or honestly, if you think his hands have really gotten that nice in England, plus 300 for Makachev by KO.
Yeah, I mean, he wins. Yeah. He's won 4 out of his 5 professional fights. Or wait, how many has he got? 5 or 6? Yeah, he's won he's went the decision twice with his 6 fights. So, yeah, he usually finishes people. But in his 107 amateur fights, he has gone the distance a few times in here. So I don't know. I'm probably going to stay away from that. I'm going to throw him in a lot of parlays just as a little juicer. I
don't think he's ever lost a round in this fighting. So I mean, yeah, he's going to win the fight, but the minus 450 scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, that's a lot, and this is his debut, right? For UFC.
Yeah. Correct. This is debut. Yeah.
I'll have a riskier parlay where I'll throw him in as a inside the distance.
Oh,
but
I meant to bring this up earlier, and I'm just really high and forgot about it. In MMA news, have you guys been watching the NCAA wrestling? The tournament just started. Yo, crazy shit. There's been a hella upsets, and mostly the announcers were saying because they don't know how to see wrestlers. But there's some 25 seeds that are in the 4th round now. It's getting absurd. There's just upsets left and right. And it's getting crazy.
Yeah, I've actually heard that about college wrestling specifically, is that the seeding's all over the place because there's only certain conferences that are like elite, like the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. So some of these guys that wrestle in these elite conferences, they'll have 4, 5, 6 losses on the year versus some guy out of like Colorado State or Wyoming who's like undefeated or one loss. And then these, dudes who are really skilled with a few losses get ranked real low and then run through the tournament.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because they've kind of seen more top competition.
But dude out of Penn State, Roman Bravo Young, that guy's next. He's a problem. Pinned his first two opponents easily, and he was 18-0 on the season and won the Nationals last year. So this kid's a problem.
That's crazy. What weight class is he at?
133 he wrestles at.
That could be a problem. We could use a good wrestler at like 125 or 35. Like especially the 25 division, I feel like has been getting way more striker heavy. So like an elite wrestler coming in at one of those lower weight classes could be a problem. But want to get on to the next fight?
Yeah, let's do it. We got Elise Reed, 4-1 out of the USA, taking on Corey McKenna, 6-1 out of Wales in the female 115 division. What are we talking?
I got McKenna all day. I don't know. I don't know.
She's a pretty big favorite, minus 286, but I think she's in another. I know obviously the records, like they're both prospects, but personally I think she's in a different class than Elise Reed. Elise Reed, her first real opportunity against any type of competition was against Shajara Eubanks. And no disrespect to Shajara, she's a good fighter, but she beat the dog shit out of Elise Reed in 3 minutes. Like, and most of Shajara's wins against like half decent fighters are like deeper into the round, kind of scrapped. Not many people get put out in under a round by Shajara, so I really don't think that. Now, I'm not saying that I think McKenna can put her out in 3 minutes, maybe, but I do think she's just got so many more ways around this fight. She looked great in that fight. I really think this girl could be next. Like,
this is the dumbest reason ever, but I'm taking McKenna in this fight because I'd rather hear her accent in the post-fight speech than Elise Reed.
Oh, 100%.
I'd rather hear. I just went out there, do some Welsh bullshit. And,
yeah,
I'd much rather hear it. Hear that.
No doubt. I don't know. That's the only thing I don't
and
like.
7-1, 7-1, and 4-2. Come on, it's pretty spot on.
Definitely. And honestly, like the only thing that's tough is like I think McKenna does it by decision, so that's probably where I would lean to. But like I could see her finishing. Like again, if Shajara can put her out in 3 minutes, like I think Corey could find a way, but I'm not that confident. And betting just minus 286 on the money line, like it's not really great juice. So I don't know exactly which way I'd go. Honestly, if you really think Corey could maybe finish her, plus 240 for under 2.5 rounds. I don't know. Maybe. Next fight.
Yo, I'm actually in for this fight. We got Jack Shore, 15-0 out of Wales, taking on Timur Valiev, 18-2 out of Russia in the bantamweight division. You said you kind of wanted some wrestling.
Bro, this is hilarious.
Like this is it.
I don't know why Google has put that Timur is in featherweight has a win over Elias Theodorou. What the fuck? Elias fought at middleweight. Ain't no way he ever cut down to featherweight. No. And this is on Google. You just type in, you click him, and that he has a win.
I'm checking that on Tapology.
No, it's not. I went on Tapology and was
okay.
What the fuck? And then
no. Ronnie Barsalos, Martin Day, yes, all featherweights.
Yeah, so that was cracking me up. But going into this fight, I mean, I lean Shore, undefeated. But
I think Shore's going to do his thing.
I don't. But Timur just got a dub over Ronnie Barcelos, which is a pretty fucking solid win.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna say Jack, but I'm probably not gonna throw a lot on this one.
Yeah, I think I'm not all the way in on Jack Shore, but I do think stylistically, like,
It's
this
a
is
good
kind
fight
of
for
right
him.
where it needs to be. Exactly. So I
I think
don't think
he's
he
gonna
was
ride the
going to be a
momentum of the
title
crowd,
contender.
and he's gonna dog this out to a unanimous decision.
Yeah,
But who has Jack Shore really fought though?
not many.
Like,
Like,
yeah, he's been nothing. He's been impressive, but he did win a split decision over Hunter Azure.
yeah, like he really hasn't seen much competition, but he is an elite wrestler. He has had a pretty prolific like wrestling career before his MMA career, so you would hope that some of that
No, he's
gonna
gonna win
kind
this
of
by unanimous, bro. I'm
What's
telling you, he's gonna
also killing me.
ragdoll Timur Valiev.
What's also killing me with this one is after looking at this card, I'm like, I'm pretty heavy on all the fucking British and European fighters that are out there. I'm like, someone's got to lose. Like,
right.
And Jack
they
Shore's
all
be the
aren't.
guy.
They aren't all gonna win that shit. And this is the one matchup where I'm like, oh, this one's kind of close. So I don't know. That's why I kind of.
Jack Shore by decision is plus 200.
Yo,
There's
I'm
some
looking
juice
at
there.
18-2 record on my thing. You have 16. That changes the number of projections for us drastically.
Well, what's Timur
Oh,
by
you are
what's
right.
Timur by decision?
It just changes it drastically when we look at our shits. Like 18-3 and 16-0, or 19-2 and 16-1. That changes everything for me.
Right. I kind of see Jack at 16-0, honestly.
I see the 15-1 now. It's clear as day. What is Timur by decision?
Plus 150.
Not as much juice as I wanted, but that's what I think is going to happen. I want Jack Shore to win, but I don't know. I just see it being a kind of close
Jack
fight.
Shore by unanimous, fam. 30-27.
I could see it.
I hope so.
All right. Next fight.
Next fight, we're getting into light heavyweights now. Big fellas. We got Nikita Krylov, 27-8 out of Ukraine, taking on Paul Craig, 15-4-1 out of Scotland. This is a banger of a fight.
This is pissing me off because.
How so?
Get off Google, bro. They stink.
No, well, I need to be on Google, but this pisses me off because this should be in the main card. They're both ranked. This matters for that division.
Oh, yeah.
And yet you put Gunnar Nelson versus Sato on here on the main card, and Gunnar hasn't won a fight since 2016 or some shit.
Yeah. And he's the heavy favorite.
Yeah, and he's a huge trick. Put that on the prelims. Get fucking Paul Craig's ass up to the main card. What the fuck's going on?
Completely agree. I think this is going to be a banger of a fight.
I got Craig in this all day. I think Craig pulls off a submission dub here.
Wow, you stole my thunder because I thought I was going to be kind of the unpopular opinion. Obviously, everyone's kind of rooting for Ukraine right now, and I do stand with Ukraine, but I do think the Bear Jew is going to snap that neck.
Yeah, I do too. And Nikita's lost by
sub, I believe, 5 times. 5 of his 8 losses have been by sub, and Paul he's such a strong wrestler, and then when he just gets you in those positions, he just snatches it up. Like, I really think that, I mean, unless Nikita can just keep it at range and keep him off you, but that's never worked against Paul Craig yet. Like,
I think
Nikita Krylov, unit, bro. I see.
Well, the only time
Ukraine coming through.
Only time Paul Craig loses is by like a super like athletic dude who just puts him to sleep in the first like round.
Yeah.
And
hello.
Krylov is not that guy. I'm telling you, Krylov ain't knocking people out in the first round. He seems a little slower to me. He's like methodical, and he'll get it done over time or win a decision. But he's not putting people out.
That's just going to give too much time for Paul to work.
He has like 1 knockout on his record, damn near, and let me see.
He's got a few knockouts here.
He's got okay.
He did Emmanuel Newton in 43 seconds with the flying knee.
Ed Herman.
Right, you get a trash can with a flying knee. You got lucky. Congrats.
I'm trying to spin an argument here. Let it be.
No, yeah, I think no, and I think Krylov's a problem in the division, but I mean, nah, I think Craig gets it done.
Yeah, I think Craig's like low key right on his way to the top like 8, top 5. Like,
And he looks fucking good right now. Like he's looking shredded. Like he's looking, and
I think there's
like he's got the
absolute,
motivation.
absolute ton of value in Paul Craig by sub plus 375.
What the fuck? What's him just to win?
Just to win
Paul
it
Craig
plus
by sub is
155.
plus 375. I'm about
Craig's
to
the
hammer that.
underdog.
I'm about to hammer
Craig's
that.
the underdog. Krylov's
I
a
love
minus 200 favorite.
That's bullshit.
Yikes.
That is. I think it should be a close. I do think Krylov is good.
Vegas knows what they're doing.
Vegas going to take the Ukrainians' money. Like, everyone going to just blindly bet on the Ukrainian guy, and Vegas going to take their money. We're trying to help them. We're trying to help here.
Yeah, man. I think Paul Craig, and then this should be on the main card. I love it.
Completely agree. Moving a little away from Ukraine, next fight.
Yeah, next fight we got Shamil Abdurakhimov, 20-6 out of Russia, taking on Sergey Pavlovich, 14-1, also out of that shit stain of a country, Russia. This is in the heavyweight division. What do we got?
I hope for like a draw. Not a
double
draw.
knockout.
I got
Double
Sergey.
nut shot that ends the fight.
I honestly don't know. I feel like Sergey should be the favorite here for sure, but I don't know, man. I feel like Shamil's not as bad as people, I feel like he's
I can't really get a read on Shamil because he's definitely not trash. Like, he's not a bad fighter. But, like, I don't know. I mean, Sergey's actually a bigger favorite than I thought he'd be. He's a minus 345 favorite, plus 260 on Shamil.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
He should be that big of a favorite. Look at him. He's a unit. He's probably off the juice, and his only losses to Alistair Overeem in 2018. This cat's an absolute problem. I don't
Who is he
care
beat,
who he's.
though?
Doesn't matter. Other juiced up heavyweight Russians. Like, at this point, does it really matter? He's 14-1 and on a roll. I kind of feel like he's gonna start Abdurakhimov.
His best win is Maurice Green.
And he put him out.
That's
what would
not
Maurice
good
Green
enough for
do?
me.
What would
Oh,
Maurice
like,
Green
oh,
do against
other
Shamil?
You know what? I think there's a lot of value on Shamil here, to be honest. Shamil's a tough son of a bitch. And I think if he can get out that first round, big old Roydba, he's going to be gassed out. And then all of a sudden, he's going to lose that fight. I don't know. This is just a gut feeling. I think Shamil's going to take it.
Shamil by
If Sergey
plus
can wrestle,
525.
he's going to destroy him.
I got Shamil, man. This is
I
I'm
do
probably
think there
wrong,
is
but
some juice
I'm going
there,
to
plus
put
260.
some juice on Shamil here. I think he's a tough son of a bitch. They're both Russian. It's going to be a crazy-ass fight. I feel like the odds aren't making it as clear as it should be. There's value on Shamil. Yes, Sergey should probably win, but I think it's a lot closer than that.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I mean, I don't think I'm going to put the mortgage on Shamil, but I would not hate sprinkling it. Next fight.
Next fight, we got an interesting one on our hands. We got Mike Grundy, 12-3 out of the UK, taking on Makwan Amirkhani, 16-7 out of Finland. This is in the featherweight division. What do we got?
I'm probably
I'll
going
kick
to
it
eat
off.
my words. I'm probably going to eat my words here. But at
I'll-
least put Paul Craig at the top of the fucking prelim, the main, like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
But then now this fight's going to be fucking dope. But what do you
Yeah,
got?
maybe.
Yo, I think this fight's going to be chaos. I'm in for this
You
fight.
did?
Mike Grundy
Hold on.
comes. I seen him fight live. Mike Grundy comes forward and throws hammers, and that's all he does. And he also gets rocked in return. Makwan Amirkhani in his last 4 fights, they've been chaos. He's like a submission guy that tries to strike, thinks he's kind of a striker, gets chin dropped, throws up a triangle. I think this is gonna be chaos. I think it's gonna be I would bet the under rounds. I think under 1.5 rounds, and it's just
Mike
gonna be
Grundy's
nuts.
fighting for something, too. He says he's dedicating this fight to his terminally ill father.
Okay. Maybe I won't go off and say what I was going to say. Because, well, you know what? We're honest. We're usually honest here at the No Judgment Necessary podcast. And I honestly think that both of these fighters fucking suck. Like, I think both of these fighters, like, low key do not belong in the UFC and just, like, are just here. Like, again, like, sure, they can throw some hammers. Sure, they can, like, maybe knock someone out. Amir Khani's gotten a couple slick submissions, but, like, they're, like, PFL at best.
I don't know. I mean, I think they're
I don't
entertaining
know
enough.
about
They got a
that.
couple more
I don't
fights.
know about that, bro.
It could just be a hot take, and like you said, I'm probably going to eat those words, and this is going to be a banger of a fight, but I just...
Bro, I got Grundy, man. I think now that I know that he's fighting for that.
Yeah, now I'm betting on Grundy for that, like, because I had really not,
I think
like...
this is a good fight, bro. I really do. Amir Khan, they're both exciting, bro. No?
Well, is Grundy a good wrestler? I forgot.
He's decent. I mean, he lost to Masvar Eviliev, but that's what does that tell you? Eviliev's
Oh,
problem.
he got a bronze medal from the Commonwealth Games, whatever the fuck that is.
All right, so I put zero stock in that.
Is that like the English wrestling? I mean, still, he's a wrestler. He was a wrestler before MMA. So
I think that's like saying he finished third at a JUCO.
well, my worry was
It's
that
not quite the Olympics. That's the Commonwealth Games. Like it was JUCO.
well, my worry was
Like-
Amiri Kane was going to start pushing the wrestling and try to get a submission. But if Grundy's a good wrestler, I got him.
Yeah, at least
think-
even he doesn't even have to be a great wrestler. Even if he can just be a defensive wrestler,
Exactly.
and keep it on the feet.
Bro,
Yeah,
but
bet,
yeah,
bet
I
the
think-
under 1.5 rounds in this fight.
Yeah, I think I would probably, if I have to pick this fight, I think I'd lean Grundy. Grundy by finish would be plus 320. You really think it's going to be a quick one, but
I think so.
I think it's gonna be this-
I think it's gonna be chaos. I think it's gonna be like the Dober McKinney fight. I think it's gonna be something like that, like just chaos for like 5 minutes. Nuts. Somebody got something. Oh shit! Looks like he's about to win. Bam. Sub. Whatever
well,
it
if
is.
you
I
really
don't
like
know.
that nil, there's definitely some value in the fight not to go the distance. Plus 145.
Yeah, because I was kind of going. I was thinking Grundy by decision, but I don't know.
Don't hate it. Grundy's a minus 195 money line. Amir Khani's a plus 153.
I don't like that either.
No, don't love it. Next fight, what do we got?
Next fight, we got Jai Herbert, 11-3 out of UK, taking on Ilya Topuria, 11-1 out of Georgia, the country, in the lightweight division. Fellas, talk to me.
Honestly, go ahead.
Superior is going to be a huge favorite here, I'm assuming. But I think it's going to be closer than we think. I still think Superior could get it. It should get it done, but Herbert's I saw them square off, and he's way bigger. Like, huge difference. And sometimes I put too much stock into that. Superior's probably just going to get him on the ground and make it even, but I don't know. I think I'm not putting this in I'm not banking on this on my parlays like I usually would.
No. I'm kind of on the same wavelength as P, where, like, I do think Topuria is, like, going into this week, I was initially like, all right, he's probably going to wash him. But with all this, like, Paddy Pimblett, like, side shit, and, like, Jair Bear's also from England, like, going to have a lot to fight for, is the bigger fighter. Like, I don't know, being almost the biggest favorite on the card, plus 400 for Jair Bear seems like it's going to have a lot of value to it. Oh,
Yeah,
I need to plug in my laptop. Go on.
No, I agree. This fight seems like the lock, and it probably would be. It probably will be since I'm not going to throw it in everything. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not putting too much money on that fight for sure.
Yo, I'm taking Topuria all day.
At minus 700,
Oh, I didn't realize that was the odds. I must have just been high and rolling up.
it may not be minus 700, but it's going to be something.
590 minus 590.
Woo! Oh my god, didn't realize.
That's kind of where we were
Okay.
saying, like, I do think he's the favorite, but, like, at that big, almost the biggest favorite on the card, like, I think there may be, like, I do see there's definitely an avenue for Jai to win this.
So why'd they make this fight?
Hot take here. Either Topuria or Pimblett. One of those two are losing. I don't know which one. I'm not. They're both huge.
I know who's losing.
They're both huge favorites. I just can see one of them losing and the other one talking mad shit. Like, you couldn't even beat that guy, blah, blah, blah. You want to fight me now?
I don't hate that take as long as it is Taporia. Next fight, let's do it.
Next fight, we got Molly McCann, 11-4 out of the UK, taking on Luana Carolina, 8-2 out of Brazil. This is the female flyweight division. Opening gun thoughts?
I got Meatball, but it's again where I'm like, how many of the British fighters are going to win here? Like,
right. It's a numbers game.
The storyline does scare me here. Like, everybody loves Meatball McCann. Luana, I don't think is that good. Like, honestly, like, I do think she's a step below Molly, and I do think that Molly should be able to, like, control her in the wrestling. But couldn't you slick kind of see this? I mean, Luana's more of a striker than, like, a traditional Brazilian fighter, but, like, I don't know, just like in a weird exchange or like a weird wrestling, like when Molly's trying to like advance position or something, just like get caught in something, like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not throwing this in a lot of parlays either, man. This is going to be one of those where I just kind of I'll bet it as that happens. You know, maybe depends how up I am or down I am, maybe not even bet it at all. But yeah, I lean Molly. You know, I can see her because I think she's fought in England before and she was hyped up and got the dub and it was a big deal. So
she did fight in England. I seen her walk right out the cage with the fucking fat eyeball that made her like half famous. That shit was
with the
gnarly.
meatball on her head.
Yeah.
Was that the Diana fight?
I don't know who she fought. That was on the Till Masvidal card.
Oh, that was the Kohara.
Okay,
Christina
sure.
Kohara, I think. But even in the way of like, you know, obviously MMA math doesn't work. Like Molly McCann absolutely controlled Ariana Lipski and like just dominated her on the ground. And Ariana Lipski put Luana in a knee bar. So like, if that gives you any insight to the ground game, like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm leaning Molly, but I just have to do some math here and figure out how many British fighters I think are going to win.
Right.
Because she's on that, like, yeah, I think she's going to win. But if I have, like, all the other ones, then this is one of them where I'm like,
I don't know. And then let's move on to the next fight, which is on the main card where it definitely...
For no reason.
Let's do it.
We got Gunnar Nelson, 17-5-1 out of Iceland, taking on Takashi Sato, 16-4 out of Japan in the welterweight division. The fuck you mean this doesn't belong on the main card? You guys are absolutely bugging. Gunnar Nelson
over Paul Craig.
Stop. Gunnar Nelson's a fucking legend when it comes to the
2017.
Isle. It doesn't matter when it comes to UK.
No,
Ireland,
you're right.
Scotland,
and I love
and all that.
Nelson.
And they're selling out the O2. That's why. It's the first one back in 3 years. They're trying to say hallelujah since
Nothing
COVID.
can be on the card.
No,
but
this should be headlining the prelims. Get Paul Craig.
Bro, I guarantee you, when Gunnar Nelson walk out, he will get one of the loudest pops in the arena. And that is why.
Molly, Patty.
Yes,
Tom
that is
Aspinall.
why. Correct.
He'll be like number 4 or 5.
Nope. Bro, he's a massive draw over there. That's why he's on this card. He's been doing this for years. They fucking love him.
These two fighters are combined 1-5 since 2019.
And Paul Craig and Krylov are literally fighting for top 5 ranking.
Yeah.
Bro, this deserves to be on the main card. I don't give a fuck. It's Gunnar Nelson.
Awesome, and he's a minus 500 favorite, so I can't even like properly bet this fight. Like,
here's how you bet it. I actually know how to bet this fight.
please.
I already knew Gunnar was a huge favorite, so this is what you do, and you're probably going to lose anyways.
Fair.
Gunnar by submission, or Sato by knockout. You pick both. No, not or. You pick and. You do both of those bets. You put
Okay.
a little $5 on
Gunner by sub is minus 118.
What
so you
the?
Yeah. Because, dude, Gunner's a minus 500. So, like,
This
yeah.
fight sucks, dude. This fight should not be on the main card.
This fight will not complete 2 rounds.
Bro, this fight sucks. All right, Gunner by
Gunner Nelson
round
gonna sub him in the early second round, and the crowd's gonna go
round.
wild and be like, "Yeah, let's fucking go, Gunner!" And everyone's gonna be happy, and we're gonna fucking move on.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this fight is going. He's going to. It's going to be one of the two. Either now I got to change the bet. Gunnar Nelson's submission in the first round to finally get some juice, or Sato KO.
Yeah, don't hate that.
That's what I got to do.
And do it in the first round just to ensure that we definitely like lose because he somehow does it in the second. But
yeah, maybe
I like
I'll
that.
sprinkle on both rounds. But yeah, dude, this fight. Oh my god! I mean, trust me, I respect Gunnar. He's a great fighter. They should have just given him someone that like.
And like, honestly, if what you're trying to sell me on is that Gunnar is a popular European fighter and is going to get a big pop in the O2, I'd want to put him earlier in the card so that we get the place fucking hype. Like, get the place hype on a fight that like doesn't really fucking matter, and you know Gunnar's going to win. Like, get him hype.
Headline the prelims, get it hyped right before the main card, and then get
all right. You've got me.
Honestly, Krylov and Paul Craig should be the co-main event in my eyes.
Completely agree. But moving on to the next fight that we are very excited for.
Go on.
Our man, my man, Patty the Batty, Pimblett, taking on Rodrigo Vargas. This is a massive spot. Patty has been calling since he pretty much, far before he was even in the UFC, he's been calling to fight in the UFC in London, and here's his opportunity.
I think Patty's going to get it done inside the distance. I think they fucking threw him an underhand pitch, like just hit your fucking hit the ball and you're good. They just whoop, here you go. I think he's going to do it, get the crowd going. They know he's a money cow for the UFC if they can keep throwing him lobs. I think that's what they're doing here, and I think it's going to be inside the distance.
Should I just mute Nil's mic at this point, or?
Well, first tell me the odds, and then I want to hear Nil go the fuck off.
Okay, let's.
I want to know the odds of Patty, and then Patty inside the distance.
Well, before we get to that, I will actually give out. Let's go real quick on the Barstool Sportsbook. They are doing an exclusive this weekend. You have to opt into the promo, but if you bet $100 on Patty by knockout, win or lose, you will get this custom Patty the Batty hoodie. It's got the Barstool logo and like a Liverpool banner. Let me see if I can get that on the camera there. Not really, but black and red Patty the Batty. Yeah, probably. I think I have to. Like,
yeah, I think you do.
I mean, my God. And you're going to lose.
You're basically buying a hoodie for $100 and you could get money.
Exactly. That's kind of what I'm saying is like,
but
the only
this
two
is the
things that are holding
exact
back.
Reason why I think Patty the Batty is going to lose this fight. I really do. I think this guy Vargas is going to be Mexican tough and come through and shock the world. I think there's too much. This is the first time Patty wants to be headlining the O2. It would be so Barstool for him to lose his fucking first fight. This has nothing to do with fighting. I think Patty's far superior fighter. I just think MMA stories don't work out like we want them to. Patty's first big time. He's calling out Topuria. Everyone thinks that's the next fight, and he's going to come through and get fucking chinned. He gets dropped in every single fight. It would be so them. I think Dave minced him with the video of like, I don't even care who he's fighting. Patty's going to win by knockout. It's not even a question. Yep, until fucking the time comes.
And I don't think now's the time. I think if it's Topuria in there, we got a different story on our hands. But this is I
think
the matchmakers are smart,
dude. Be a tough enough. I do think he's going to be a tough enough fighter to maybe extend this into the, second, possibly third round. But I think Patty's just going to be far too crisp and just like at some point, push comes to shove and you got to do it. The only thing that does like sort of scare me is a bit of that Mexican tough. Like maybe he could pull it to a decision, but like
I don't know. Something's
like
just telling me though.
Coutinho type,
Vargas.
or I don't know. I don't like
The
that at all.
luck of the draw it's telling me this would be so barstool. They never sponsor an MMA fighter. They fucking throw the bag at this one guy, and he fucking gets chinned in his first fight as they're fucking hyping him and telling everyone to blindly bet it on the sportsbook. It just smells such like a spot where he just gets fucking bam, bam, and he's always scouts that don't get KO'd. This is so
beating
like
guys like this. I feel like his whole career.
Time.
I don't know, man. I got Patty inside the distance. I'll probably throw that in a couple parlays, to be honest.
And really, that's why I'm all in on Patty. Is like, as much as he is like the hype train, like he earned his way here. Like he did it. He did his time in Cage Warriors. Like he's been through that. He's fought on massive cards in England. He's fought on massive cards in Europe. Like he's had that. He's probably fought better opponents than Rodrigo Vargas in England before. Like, let's be real with this. So I think that Patty's an absolute fucking lock. Lock in the exclusive. Get the fire hoodie. I mean, I'm just all in on the fucking Patty the Batty hype train, and that's it for the pod, right? That's all we got to talk about.
I think he's getting slept. Blindly bet Patty until the wheels fall off. What else we got?
Yeah. Next fight, we got Arnold Allen, 17-1, taking on Dan Hooker, 21-11. What do we got, boys?
This is Arnold Allen on what? 8-fight win streak. Arnold Allen coming through, looking damn impressive.
Doing this to us?
Hooker coming down to 145 after a long reign at 55, coming back to the 45 division. On a bit of a skid right now, but still one of the toughest, most durable guys in the game. This should make for a great fight. Yeah, I mean, Hooker's sort of becoming a gatekeeper. He's sort of becoming if you can beat him, you're legit. And that's kind of a problem as a fan.
If I'm up in the night, I'm going to put money on Hooker just to support. But this fight scares the shit out of me. Another wrestle-heavy kind of guy.
I agree, but I actually think this is a decent matchup for Hooker. I'm not all the way sold on Arnold Allen. I think he's decent, but really his only two decent wins were a decision over Sadiq Youssef, who I think is being exposed a bit. He wasn't as good of a prospect as he was. And then another guy who we talked about earlier, in Amir Khani, who I also think is not a very good fighter. So he's never really seen the competition of Dan Hooker. And I think that Dan Hooker, obviously working with some of that Hickman wrestling down at CKB, and I think being the bigger, longer fighter, like, can give him some outs. He's going to get taken down at some point. But I think with some of his longer limbs and stuff, like, he'll be able to escape some takedowns or at least get back on his feet. And then I think he can outpoint Arnold Allen. I mean, he's going to absolutely outclass him if he can keep it on the feet, in my opinion. Like, I think the striking's not even close, but it could just turn into kind of a wrestle fuck session by Arnold.
Yeah, that's what I don't want for Hooker. I mean, also Arnold Allen has a win over Gilbert Melendez, which is pretty impressive. It was later in the career of Melendez, but still impressive. I don't know. I want Hooker to win too bad that I'm not going to bet this fight. Unless I'm up a lot, then I'll be like, fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is definitely like if the day goes well, like, let's fucking go for the last.
I think this is a spot where Hooker wins. He's going to come in way bigger. I mean, he was a problem at 55. So,
and this does kind of feel like that kind of spot for Hooker where, like, everyone's kind of sort of out a little bit. Like, they're saying he's kind of trash, he's done. And then he catches that win that everyone's like, oh, shit, wait, he beat Arnold Allen? It's like, yeah, dude, Dan Hooker's still a bad motherfucker. Like,
I want that. I really do. He has a 5-inch reach advantage. He's definitely like 4 or 5 inches taller than him.
I think this is where we see that classic Dan Hooker knee up the middle.
I'd
Lights
love
out.
that. I'd
I would
fucking
too.
love that. But let's do it. Main event time.
Let's get
What do we
into it.
got?
We got Alexander Volkov, 34-9 out of that shit stain of country they call Russia, taking on Tom Aspinall, 11-2 out of the UK. What do we got? Heavyweight main event. Always thumpers, or are they not? Based off last week, what are we thinking?
Well, last week was light heavyweights. We can't.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying people are trashing on both them shits online and whatnot.
I got Tom Aspinall all fucking day. Like, I know Volkov's going to be a tough out, but I think Aspinall's a good wrestler and good jiu-jitsu. He's been grappling his whole fucking life, and he's got power in his hands. Where Volkov, I don't see. He does have power too. Don't get me wrong. He's a big ass dude, but I think Aspinall is going to be able to either get it done on the feet fast or make it a grimy wrestling match where he's taking him down, beating him up, making him get up, get tired. I don't know. I think this is a good matchup for Aspinall to start breaking into those top 5 rankings.
Yeah, I sort of agree. It's definitely the first like true question. It's an obvious like kind of progression. He had, he just fought Spivak. This is definitely his most step up in like competition and like experience. But it does kind of feel a little weird when I think about someone with 34 wins and I don't really see as clear of a path to victory with him, because I do think Tom could outstrike him, especially early in the fight. And then if he goes to the ground, I kind of think Aspinall's got the wrestling advantage as well. So
definitely has the wrestling.
But it's more just the only thing that scares me is just really the experience and just like Volkov's seen everything. So, I don't know. What are we thinking now?
I think Aspinall, I think he's got hammers in his hands. The problem is going to be distance control. He's got to be all the way in or all the way out. You can't play this kind of middle range with Volkov and his lankiness. That could be a trick that maybe Volkov gets a little zero gone. He just circles 5 rounds. There's a part of me that could see that, but I tend to lean Aspinall's power and grappling is going to be too much.
And also another concern for Aspinall, at least, is like, how does he react to his first 5-round fight?
Yeah, and like big time fight too.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people
in
know
England,
Tom Aspinall,
like,
so yep.
I wonder. Something that could scare me is he could look great in the first like round or two, and then once that adrenaline comes down, everything and the gas tank goes a little bit. Can the experienced Volkov kind of take over those championship rounds, But I definitely lean Aspinall. He is coming in at minus 136 favorite, Volkov a plus 110. So you don't have to give up a lot of juice on Aspinall, but I will say it does kind of terrify me that all 3 of us are on him.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean Volkov's good, man. He's definitely but he's also that kind of like, are you ready for the top 5 guy? And I think he is, man. I really do think Aspinall's got what it takes. I think every time he's been like, he's always stepped up to the plate when that time came, it seemed like. So
yeah, and he's at least been the guy, obviously, in a shorter career. We haven't seen a ton from him, but I feel like there's a lot of guys as they come up where it's always like, I'm asking for, I just want a little bit more. Show me a little more. Show me something else, or show me, some improvement, or show me like why you're going to be there. And Aspinall kind of seems like the guy that each time he steps out, like he shows you that little bit more and shows you why he belongs. So hopefully that'll kind of be a similar performance for him. Anything else before we get out of here?
Cements himself at the big dog table. That's all I got.
Agreed. Any March Madness picks for tonight? Anything?
I'm out. I don't know. I'm tapping out on that.
All right. With that, We'll see you on Saturday. Catch us on Twitter, all you London blokes. Much love. We out.